subscribe to our YouTube channel, Joy Learning TV.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you again to the Joy Learning channel as we go through mathematics for Basic 7. My name is Samuel Okwabi. You can call me Samuels. It's interesting to come your way. I want to urge you to call on your friends and inform them that Mathematics Junior High School Basic 7 is on. And don't forget also to subscribe to our Facebook channels, and then you can look at some of our lessons that we have done, we have treated already. All are available over there. And so for today, I want us to go through what we call mental mathematics strategies. The mental mathematics strategies. And so you will see that, like I've indicated to you, it's a topic for Basic 7, and my name is Samuel Okwabi. You can call me Samuels. Look at that. I think that you will know that this one speaks to us, okay? So look at the picture clearly. You can see something is going on, okay? It's a picture depicting a human brain. And within the brain, there are some form of, if you like, gadgets or settings, okay, going on in the person's brain, okay? And then on top of that, we have certain mathematics symbols, okay? That's addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, it gives us an idea of what we are coming to be looking at. Mental strategies for mathematics. So everything we are going to be doing, most of them are going to be mental in form. Okay, we are going to be making use of our brains. We are going to be making use of our minds. And then we will do some calculations in there. All right. So let's look at how it turned out to be. By the end of this section, what are we hitting at? What is our target? By way of objectives, we want to ensure that as this section comes to an end, you should be able to identify the mathematical operations. Okay, know the mathematical operations, what they are, and how to use them. And when you have achieved this, then we will also be able to understand the mathematical operations and the words that represent them. Okay, so that in any given question, any given mathematical question, when we see those words, we will be able to know that it represents this operation or that operation. Okay, so that's what we are going to be doing. And when we have achieved the two that we have spoken about, we'll use the knowledge in them, apply them in solving some mental problems. Okay, so I urge you, so that we get started, by getting your pen and your jotter, getting them ready, even though it is purely or mostly going to be a mental activity. There are some of the cases you may have to put down some tidbits or some points, or you may have to do some little working somewhere on some of them. So please go grab a pen, a notepad, or a jotter, so that when the need arises, you'll be able to put down some of the things that you would really need so that the lesson can progress. Okay, so let's go on. What is a mathematical operation? Or what are mathematical operations? You have an idea. Let me give you some few seconds, like 10, and think through it. What are mathematical operations? And what are they? All right. So when we talk about mathematical operations, these are the symbols that we use in doing mathematical calculations. Okay, so for instance, we can have a mathematical operation like an addition, okay, or we can have a subtraction. So I can ask you to add a number to a number, I can ask you to subtract a number from a number, or there can be a multiplication, okay? In which case, I'm asking you to find a product of certain two or more numbers. And then we can also have a division, where I can ask you to divide a certain number by another, okay? So basically, these are not all, but basically, fundamentally, and at our level, the ones we use most, and the ones for which the scope of this lesson is focusing on, is these four: the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, and as well as the division. And so, why don't we begin with the addition? So when we are going to do an operation involving addition, what are some of the words that give us an indication that we are doing addition? Okay, so our second objective was to understand the operations and the words that represent them. Okay, so that's what we are on now. So what word will you see in a statement, in a conversation, in a dialogue? And that word will indicate to you that this one, they are asking of me to add this number to that number. And so some of the words that we will see are, first of all, plus. The very famous plus. Okay? So I can ask you, what is 2 plus 3? What is 100 plus 400? Okay? I can also ask you to add. So in a conversation, if I'm talking to you and I tell you, add the first to the second, then it means that the operation we are dealing with is addition. You can see the word add was gotten from addition, or maybe rather, the word addition came from add. Okay. Then the third is to calculate the sum. Calculate the sum. So when you hear the word sum, it's an indicator of addition. What is the sum of 250? Then add 200 to 50. Then increase a number by, and then a certain number comes. Okay? So then it's an indication that you have to add that number by the new number given. So for instance, I tell you, increase 7 by 4. Increase 7 by 4. All I'm indicating to you is to add 4 to the 7. Okay, great. And then the final one we'll look at is that find the total. Find the total. So, like we can already know, find the total of 20 and 8. Find the total of 20 and 8. It means that add 20 to 8. So for addition, these are the words that we are going to be looking at. And so, why don't we start by playing certain games, certain addition games, okay? So this is the first one. And remember, we are doing this mentally, all right? However, if you feel like putting some few things on paper, you are free to do so, okay? But for the meantime, what is the sum of 49 and 54? What is the sum of 49 and 54? In 5 seconds, you can get your answer. In 10 seconds, you can get your answer mentally. I'm sure by now your answer is ready. So let's check. What is your answer? Wow. I believe you also got 105. So the sum of 49 and 56 gives us 105. 105. 105. That's great. Let's move on and see if we can get another one. Increase 187 by 39. Increase 187 by 39. So increase a certain number by, all right? So increase 187 by 39. 5 seconds. What will you get? Mentally. Yes. Okay. So let's check whether you had it right. So when we increase 187 by 39, we are expected to get 226. Congratulations if you had it. If you did not get it, all is not lost. There is still a room for us to go back and look at what we did wrong so we can correct ourselves. Okay, let's move on quickly. They ask us to find a total of 238 and 418. Find a total of 238 and 418. So it tells us find the total, okay? That's addition. So find a total of 238 and 418. Let's get that and see in 5, 6, 7, or 10 seconds. What will you get? Okay. So we're expected to get 656. I want to believe that you got that right. Congratulations if you did. So these are mental activities that we have started doing with addition, okay? And we can go on to extend this one to any other operations in mathematics, all right? So then we move on to subtraction. What are some of the words that we will see to depict to us that we are doing subtraction? So 5 of them. The first one is minus, commonly known to us. Minus 2 minus 1, 8 minus 3, something like that. Then we know it's subtraction, okay? And then we will also say from a number, take. From a number, take. So for instance, I tell you, from 200, take 19. From 200, take 19. It's an indication that we have to subtract 19 from 200. Okay. Or you will be asked to calculate the difference. Okay. So the word difference in mathematics connotes or denotes the operation of subtraction. Okay. So what is the difference between my age and your age? It means that I have to subtract your age from my age, so that whatever I get becomes the difference. Okay. Or I can say what must be added to a certain number to make another number. What must be added to a certain number to make another number? So for instance, I can ask what must be added to 21 to make 40? What must be added to 21 to make 40? Okay. So simply, all you have to do is to subtract the 21 from the 40. And the difference that you will get, that number is what has to be added to the 21 to make 40, to get 40. Okay. I mean, so cool to understand, right? Great. Or we can say that what must be added to so and so to make so and so. And then we know that that is good for us to do, and we know that then we are talking about subtraction. Okay, having done addition and having done subtraction, let's also look at some of these games that we can play with subtraction. Okay, so look at the first one. From 265, take. From 265, take 94. As we saw, something like this is subtraction. So what are you doing? What are you subtracting from what? What are you taking? You are taking 94 from 265. That means you are subtracting 94 from 265. In 5 seconds, let's see whether you'll be able to get that answer mentally, okay? So that we see whether you are right or wrong. Okay? So, what did you get? Is it 171? If it is, then you are right. If it is not, there is a new opportunity for you to go back and look at it again. So let's look at the second one, so that for those of us who could not get the first one, we have another opportunity. And even those of us who got it, let's reinforce our knowledge, our understanding. Okay, so let's look at this one. What is the difference between 396 and 218? What is the difference between 396 and 218? 18. So, a case of subtraction, it's difference, okay? What will you get? Okay, so by now, I'm expecting that you are done, and if you get an answer as 178, then you are good. Bravo. Well done. Aiko. Don't be discouraged if you did not get it. I'm giving you a third opportunity, okay? So look at the third one. What must be added to 237 to make 999? What must be added to 237 to make 999? We saw it. It's a case of subtraction, okay? So what are you subtracting? You are subtracting the 237 from 999. Can I get a good answer from that? Okay. So did you get 762? Wow. That's great. You are doing so well. And I know that by the time we finish the section, all of our objectives would have been achieved. Keep working hard. Let's keep moving on, because there are more to learn. Okay, so let's go. We've done subtraction, so then the next one is for us to do a multiplication. So for that, which words will we see and they will depict multiplication? It can be a times, 2 times 3. It can be a multiply 8 by 9. It can be find the product of 3 and 9. It means multiply 3 by 9. Okay? Or I can say square. So for instance, I tell you square 9, square 29, square 100. It means multiply 100 by itself. Okay? Or the number I mentioned by itself. Or I can also ask you what must be divided by a certain number to give a certain number. And take note, even though we are doing multiplication, we are asking what must be divided by a certain number to give a certain number. Okay? And we are doing so because multiplication and division are opposites. Okay? So, if we can divide a certain number by a certain number to give a certain number, then the reverse is true for multiplication. Okay? So when we say this, it means that they are asking us to do a multiplication. And so, once again, let's see whether we can do some mental activities with multiplication. Okay? So the first one, I'm asking you, what is the product of 400 and 120? What is the product of 400 and 120? Of course, you are lucky to have zeros in the number, right? In the numbers. That means when you take out those zeros, you have simpler numbers to multiply. And after multiplying those ones, you can, add on the zeros. There you go. You can use the place value system to multiply it. You can use the lattice method to multiply it. Whatever method you choose, I'm okay with it. All I need is your understanding and getting your points, your questions on point. Okay. So, what did you get? 400 by 120. Okay. Mentally, what do you think? Okay. So, we expected to get a 48,000. A 48,000. 4 by 12 will give us 48, right? So, we have 3 zeros in both numbers. We add on, that becomes 48,000. Okay. We are doing these things mentally. Okay. All right. Let's get the second one. And I'm asking you to find the square of 17. So what does it mean? 17 squared. 17 by 17. 17 times 17. Okay, so what will you get if you square 17? Square numbers. Square numbers. So the square of 17. What is it? Mentally. Okay? Okay, so if you got 289, then you are right. And I'm glad you are getting your answers. Let's get a final attempt of that. What must be divided by 13 to give 156? What must be divided by 13 to give 156? And like I told you, there is a case of multiplication. Okay? So they are asking us, 13 multiplies what number to give 156? 13 multiplies what number to give 156? Okay, so if we should do that, we'll realize that it will be 12, because 12 by 13 will give us 156. Interesting things, right? We are just playing with our minds on addition, subtraction, multiplication, and then we are coming to division. Okay, so let's move on as we look at division. So for division, what words or word shall we see to give us an indication that we are supposed to divide this number by that number? Okay, so like the word says, divide. So divide 8 by 2. Divide 8 by 2. Or share. So grandma went to the market to buy some sweets so that she can share among her grandchildren. So it means that we are going to be looking at a case of division. Okay. Or I can ask, how many times does it go into? For instance, how many times does 5 go into 20? It means I'm asking you to divide 20 by 5. Okay, great. Or I can ask, what must be multiplied by a certain number to give a certain number? What must be multiplied by a certain number to give another number? Okay, these words or statements depict the operation of division. And so, let's see whether we can play some 3 games on that one so that we know how to go about it again. So I ask you to share 435 Ghana cedis among 15 workers. Share 435 Ghana cedis among 15 workers. Okay? Share 435 Ghana cedis among 15 workers. And I want you to try that so that we see how that should go for us. Okay? I'm giving you a lot more time because this one is division. Okay? You can use the place value system, you can use the lattice system, anyhow, you can use the long division system, you can use the short division system. Okay? This is division. So use the long division, use the short division, or any other method you know, and then let's have the answer. Okay, so by now I want to believe that you have gotten your answer, and if it is 29, then you are right. When we divide 435 by 15, we expect to get 29. And so each worker in this scenario will get 29 Ghana cedis. Okay. All right. So then, let's see a second one. How many times is 7 contained in 217? How many times is 7 contained in 217? Okay, so then it's a case of dividing 217 by 7. Use your long division, use your short division, anyway, anyhow, and get your understanding. That is how that's what we are interested in. Okay, so I'm giving you some few seconds to do that, and then we will see whether the answer you get will be the same as what we are also having here. Okay, so I expect that your answer should be a 31. If that is what you got, then you are on point. Okay, let's give a third opportunity on that. So what must be multiplied by 13 to give 156? What must be multiplied by 13 to give 156? So In other words, divide 156 by 13. Divide 156 by 13. And when we do that, we know that our answer should be 12. Great. We've done addition, we've done subtraction, we've done multiplication, we've done division. Okay? We have looked at the operations already and the words that they mean. Okay? And after we have done all these, then it means that we are now ready to play some games by way of exercises. Okay? So we are going to start with addition to add certain numbers. So I'm asking you to add using either the partitioning or the place value system. Okay? If you want to partition the numbers into, let's say, hundreds, tens, or whatever, or you want to use a place value system, the traditional way of addition, you are at liberty to do any of them. But this is what we want to do. We want to add 638 to 482. Okay, so as we do these things, there are some mental activities that will go on in our minds. Okay, so we are going to be looking at that in the jiffy. So that's that. Okay, so I'm going to use the place value system, okay, to handle it. All right, so mentally, I know that I have to add 8 to 2. Okay, and so if I do that, what will I get? I'll get a 10, right? So having gotten a 10, I know that I will put down a 0 and go on and do the next addition. So that next addition gives me 3 plus 8, right? So 3 plus 8 is 11. You know, I was having a 1 from my first addition. Okay, so 11 plus that 1 will give me a 12. So I get a 2. Then I carry the 1 to the next addition, okay? And I have 6 plus 4, of course that's 10. So with a 1 on it, that becomes 11. That gives me 1,120. So even though I'm using some workings, if you like call it that way, or I'm writing some things down, there are some aspects of mental activities going on in solving this. Okay? For instance, I added 2 to 8 mentally, right? I added 3 to 8 mentally. I added 6 to 4 mentally. Okay, so that's the essence of the exercise that we are doing. Okay, let's see if we can get some exercise on this one. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds to go through this one. Okay, so use any method you want, but I need you to give me the answer for the sum of 31,726 and 38,294. So I'm asking for 31,726 and 38,294. I'm looking out for their sum. Okay, so within 30 seconds, I need you to give me that answer. Let's go. Okay, that's 45 seconds already. And so that should be enough. Let's see whether you were able to get your answer right. So share your answer with us, okay? Share your answer with us on Facebook, on Joy Learning TV, all right? And then we will be sure to get back to you. And then we'll see. You can also share your answer with your friends. And let's see whether the answer that you got is the same as what they also got. All right. Then we move on to subtraction. So we are asking, use any method you want, but we need you to subtract 573 592, sorry, let me take that again, 573.592 minus 348.124. Okay, so let's see what that should give. Okay, we are using subtraction, and so we expect that we should have something like this. So I'm going to use a place value system again to demonstrate it. So we know that we arrange our numbers this way, and then we do the subtraction by place value system. All right. So I have 2 minus 4, and I know that I cannot have 2 minus 4 by this system of place value. So I have to go and borrow as we know it. Okay. So I come to the next position or next place and borrow 1 from there, which gives me a value of 10. We know that. Okay, we add that 10 to the 2, that gives us a 12. Okay, so 12 minus 4 now gives us an 8. Okay, meaning that out of the 9 that we borrowed 1, we are now left with 8. Okay, so 8 minus 2 gives us a 6. Okay, and then 5 minus 1 gives us a 4. Then our decimal point comes. Then we have 3 minus 8. Of course, we cannot add it that way using place value system. So we got to go to the next place, okay, and borrow 1 from the 7. Bringing it to the 3, that gives us a 13. And 13 minus 5 minus 8 gives us a 5. Okay, that means we no longer have 7 because we have borrowed 1 out of that. We now have 6 left. So 6 minus the 4 will give us a 2. And then 5 minus 3 also will give us a 2. So at the end of the day, we are expected that our answer will be 225.468. 225.468. Okay, so that's what we are expected to get. Let's see whether if I leave you on your own to attempt 1, you will be able to do it. And so again, you are expected to subtract 227.280 from 406.418. Can you start work for me? Attempt it and let me see. So I give you maybe 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds. As you finish, feel free to share your answer with us or with your friends and monitor your progress, whether you are going on or not. Okay, we are in our last 5 seconds. And that's it. Okay, that's it. So it's done. Share your answer with your friends or share it with us on Joy Learning TV on Facebook. Okay, we'll see whether or not you are getting things right. Now, let's move on to multiplication and play some games also. Okay, so we want to multiply 265 by 125. Maybe you want to use the vertical place method or you want to use the lattice method. Okay, so maybe for me, I would be using the vertical place system or method to go about this one. So let's look at that. I have 265 and I'm multiplying it by 125, or I'm finding the product of the two numbers. Okay, so I will start with a 5. Okay, so 5 times 5 gives us a 25. So the 25, I put down 5. Okay, I know I have 2 to add on. Then I have 5 times 6 gives me a 30. Okay, so with a 30, I add my 2 to give me a 32. I know I have 3 to add on. 5 by 2 gives me 10 by the 3, or plus the 3 gives me a 13. I'm done with the 5. Then I move on to the 2. Okay, so I have 2 by 5 gives me a 10. So I put on my 0. Then I know that I'm carrying 1 on. Okay, then 2 by 6 gives me 12, but plus the 1, that gives me a 13. I'll put down my 10. I still have 1. 2 by 2 gives me a 4 plus the 1 gives me a 5. I'm done with a 2. I come to the last one, which is 1. And I know I have 1 by 5. That will give me a 5. 1 by 6, a 6. 1 by 2, a 2. Having done all this, I do my addition as we know it. Okay. So here gives us 5. This column gives us 2. This column gives us 11. All right. So I write my 1. This column ideally should also give us a 12. The 1 gives us a 13. Okay. And here will give me a 3. So I'll end up by having 33,125 as my answer. Can you do one for me so that we see? So I want you to find a product of 172 and 829. And so kindly work that out for me in the next 30 seconds. Starting now. And we are into the last 10 seconds. And that's that. But let me give some few more people some 5 more seconds to complete. Okay, that should be enough. That should be enough. Feel free to share your answers with us. Okay. Now let's do the division. What must be multiplied by 20 to get 1,600? So we saw what that statement means. It means you are supposed to divide. And what are we dividing? We are dividing the 1,600 by 20. So I have 1,600 and I'm going to divide it by 20. Maybe I can use it the short division or I can use the long division. Any of them will work out, okay? Any of them will work out. But my short division, I know that 0 will cancel a 0. 2 here will give me 1. 2 here will give me an 8. 2 into 0 will give me a 0. Leaving me with what? 80. Okay, so when I divide 1,600 by 20, I am left with 80. Okay, let's see whether you can try one of these for us to see. Okay, so I want you to find out how many times 73 will go into 269. How many times 73 will go into 269? Can we start that in the next 30 seconds? Into the last 5 seconds. And that's it. But let me give some few more people who are not done 5 more seconds. Okay. That's that. That's that. Share your answers with us or with your friends and let's see whether we are moving on. Now let's play some games. Let's have some fun with numbers, okay, by looking at some few questions like this one. So I'm telling you that there are 39 boys and there are 57 girls. And the boys and the girls attended a fun party at the park. The fee at the gate was 14 cedis per child. 14 cedis, 14 Ghana cedis, okay. So I want to find out from you, how much money did the children pay all together? Let me take the question again. 39 boys and 57 girls attended a fun party at the park. The fee at the gate was 14 cedis per child. How much money did the children pay all together? So when you read a question like this, then you've got to go into the question and get the understanding. Any mathematical statement you see revolves around operations, okay? So, is it asking you to add? Is it asking you to subtract? Or is it asking you to multiply? Or is it asking you to divide? Every statement we see or read in the question will do one of these things. Okay? Maybe asking you to add something to something, subtract something from something, multiply something by something, divide a certain number by. It all revolves around these operations. Okay? So when you have the understanding, then you know that you have to do whether addition or whether it is subtraction or whether it is division or whether it is multiplication. Okay? So for this one, what do you think? It may have a combination of addition and multiplication. Why addition? There are boys and there are girls. And there are a number of boys and there are a number of girls. So, and I'm finding the total amount they paid all together. So I should add the number of boys to the number of girls. Okay? When I've added them, then I have to find out then what value did they pay? What value of money did they pay? Because the gate fee was 14 cedis. Then it's an indication that I have to multiply the number that I get for the boys and girls in total by 14. So I'm dealing with addition and multiplication at the same time in one question. Okay, so let's look at it. We see that there are 39 boys and 57 girls. 39 boys, okay? And 57 girls. So in all, let me add 39 to 57, okay? So that this gives me a 6 and this gives me a 9, meaning that I will have 96 people or children, okay? 96 children, all right? Now I know that the gate fee or the fee at the gate is 14 cedis, okay, per person, per child. So now that I know that there are 96 children in all, then the ideal thing for me to do is to multiply the 96 by 14, isn't it? So then I can multiply. So I want to find the total fee paid. What will I do? I'll have to multiply 96 by the fee per child, which is 14. Okay, so 96 by 14, let's see what that can give us. 96, we are multiplying it by 14. Okay, so 6 gives us a 24. Okay, and then 4 by 9 will give us a 36, plus the 2 is a 38. Then 1 by 6 is 6, 1 by 9 is 9. Okay, then I add, I get 4 here, and I get a 14 here, and I get a 13 here. Okay, so I know that I'm getting 1,344. Therefore, I can conclude that they paid 1,344 all together. I'm just having fun with numbers, be it addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, let's see this one. Mamiya is 17 years old. That can be you, right? Or your sister, or your friend is 17 years old. Or you can even look at your own age to work it out. But in the case of Mamiya, she is 17 years old. Mr. Mensah, her father, is 4 times as old as Mamiya. So we see a word, times, depicting what operation? Multiplication. Okay, all right. So Mr. Mensah, her father, is 4 times as old as Mamiya. I'm asking you, how old is Mr. Mensah? Mamiya is 17 years. Her father, Mr. Mensah, is 4 times. 4 times. 4 times. So you should know what we are going to do. Okay. So the first question, how old is Mr. Mensah? And then the second question, what is their total age? All right. So let's look at what we should be doing. We have been told that Mamiya, okay, is 17 years. The father, Mr. Mensah, is 4 times. Then in that case, Mr. Mensah, okay, should be 4 times years age, which is 17. Okay? So I multiply 4 by 17, and what will I get? Okay? And I get a 68. Okay? 68 years. So I know that Mr. Mensah's age will be 68. Alright? That's A part of the question. Now the B part was asking me that what is your total age? If you put Mamiya and then the father's age together, what is your total age? So what operation do you think we should use? Look at the word total. Total. So we saw that word in our previous discussions, right? In our earlier discussions. Total. It means what? Sum. It also means what? Addition. Alright? So it means that we have to add Mamiya's age to the father's age to get a total age. Okay? So that gives us Mamiya was 17 years. We have seen Mr. Mensah's age to be 68 years. Okay? So we add, we will know that we will get our answer in years. So we are expected to get 85 years. So the two of them in all, the age will be 85. If there is something we could do that way. Okay. Great. Great. Very soon we are coming to a conclusion to this. And before we do that, as usual, I'm going to leave you with this one. Okay. So I want you to take a snapshot or copy it out, whichever means is possible to you. Okay. And then you work it out, forward the answer to me on Joy Learning TV on Facebook. Okay, I will look at it and then get back to you. But let's read the question. Mrs. Adom spent 54 cedis, 65 pesos to buy groceries. Mrs. Asempa spent 34 cedis, 90 pesos less. Take note of that. Mrs. Asempa spent 34 cedis, 90 pesos less. Okay? We've been told what Mrs. Adom spent, and that's 54 cedis, 65 pesos. We are being told Mrs. Asempa spent 34 cedis, 90 pesos less. Alright, so what am I asking you? How much did Mrs. Asempa spend? How much did Mrs. Asempa spend? That's what I'm asking you. Then, after finding that, do me the favor of also finding this one. If they both took 100 cedis to the market all together, if they both took 100 cedis to the market all together, how much change did they bring home? It's a simple thing to do. And when you think through it, you will know what to do. Remember, it revolves around the operations we have looked at. Whether maybe subtraction, addition, division, multiplication. Look at the question, study it, and give me a good attempt, okay? I want to end the section here today, and I want to believe that you have understood what we have gone through. Your assessment of this assignment is going to tell me more. So send it to me on Joy Learning TV on Facebook, okay? Or the email provided on your screens. And then when I get to know of your feedback, your response, I know you understood it. Okay? So till I come your way again, my name is Samuel Okwabi. You can call me Samox. I am your maths facilitator. Remember, it is Joy Learning. We have to keep learning. A mathematics question worth a day will send you far. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Joy Learning TV.